huge number of tourists coming from down and go through this area and go back to Skardu. Arrive there and they throw everything around, they take pictures, but they don't care about the environment. Nowadays, they are building hotels everywhere in GB without any rules,
This
without
is really
any
terrible.
controls.
Another very big issue.
Karimabad now is something that is impossible to reach because they are growing hotel
The
everywhere.
hustle, bustle of
Yes.
cars and going.
And there is no policy around.
Yeah, that's true.
In the last 30 years, the things change really a lot in GB. I know the develop of the livelihood of the people living is something positive because they can earn more money, they can live better. But on the opposite side, there is also the loss of the cultural heritage. Old cultural heritage of these places
It's
probably
going away, just, yes.
The mountains of GB, of Pakistan, for my experience, are the more beautiful mountains in the world, really.
Yeah.
I've been in America, Alaska, in Himalayas, but when I arrive here, I can say they are the best mountains in the world, the most important glacier in the world. Today you have to do policy to protect them.
Welcome, Mr. Gallo, for this program, and IMN Network welcome you formally, and thank you very much for your time to be part of this program.
I tell you some words about my experience in Pakistan, in Gilgit-Baltistan. So I am a mountain guide, but I work in the mountains, also in the Alps, for several years. I was the teacher of the Italian mountain guides for 10 years, so I know very well the mountains also in the Alps. But today for me is a very important day because celebrate the mountain day. There is something that everywhere in the world now they are celebrating, not only for the mountains like a beautiful place where you can go and enjoy the environment, but I think it is important today to remember also the people living in the mountains. The mountain day has to be something that put our attention also with the problems and the difficulties that the people that live there, especially in this climate change scenario. So they need more support probably for all the world, because the people living in the mountains is suffering more than other about what is going on, the situation for the temperature that increase, the water that is less than before. So for them it's very difficult to continue the activity in the fields and agriculture. And so they need some other supports. And I think today is very important to remember to everyone in the world that the attention to the media and to the people, to the mountains, has to be more than before, probably.
Absolutely. You're right. Because, as you have been in Gilgit-Baltistan since 1986, doing a lot of good things, going into the mountains, sometimes collecting the waste generated by human activity, but also working on green initiatives, environmental issues. We have seen a great transformation in Gilgit-Baltistan over these 40 and 45 years' time, right? From agrarian and a pastoral society to a modern touristic, specifically driven by the commercial activity, the economic transformation, the cultural transformation is going on. But at the same time, the challenges are, paramount. We have multiplied our challenges, as you may have witnessed, that the increasing, the increasing inflow of tourists from across the country. More than 1 million people visited Gilgit-Baltistan last year. So the amount of waste that is being generated, not only in the touristic hubs, but also in the mountains wherever they go. So what are these challenges and how to deal with them? Because I don't see there is a very clear and visible enforcement policy to ensure that these things does not happen, and we can restore our ecosystem. We can also improve our environment so that tourism comes with great responsibility and economic drive as well. So, what are your experiences on that?
You're right. In the last 30 years, the things change really a lot in GB, and I I have always I know the develop of the livelihood of the people living is something positive because they can earn more money, they can live better. But on the opposite side, there is also the loss of the cultural heritage. So what I've seen is especially in the last year, with all this economy changing, the people are now more interested in the towns of Gilgit, Skardu, and they are leaving the mountains without any interest. So there is always less people living in the villages, and the agricultural use of the land is reducing. And also the livestock, the number of livestock probably are reducing. They are more interested in the commercial activity, as you say. But also I've seen another, the house of people living, the last villages is around, the altitude is around 3,000 meters.
Yeah.
There's a very special situation in which they live in a house that is made by 3 levels. And during the winter season, they go in Kaza is the name of Balti word of this part of the house that is inside the ground. So they cave the ground under the house, and they live inside with a local stove working every day, every night, continuously. This kaza is something that is in their cultural heritage. There is also beautiful wood carving inside. But nowadays the people are leaving this kind of, and they want to build a new house outside. So it means that all the old cultural heritage of this place is
going away,
yes. And this is a pity because
this is something that also happened in Italy in the past when Italy was developing.
Sure. Yes.
The cultural
yes, this is true. In the Alps, I can say 25 years ago, the people start moving from the mountains to the town. But in the last 5 years, there are more interest in the people that can go back to the mountains in ecotourism place and activities. So there are rich people also wants to restore old houses, old villages that before was completely without any inhabitants, and restart to live in the mountains and the nature. After COVID also, especially the interest for the people for the nature is increased a lot. We have in Italy a lot of people now moving to the mountains. In a proper way, so not like destroying everything. Is not is, I can say, a high level in the opinion of the people tourism. What I've seen in GB is the people that arrive from domestic, especially for domestic tourists, they don't know what is the protection of the mountain really. They arrive there by car, and they spent 1-2 days only without seeing, or just to have a look.
Just eating and living inside and just
eating and throwing everything around is the main.
That is true.
They go back a few days and they leave the mountains with a lot of pollution, a lot of waste. And to manage this waste for the local institution, for the local EPA, local Environment Protection Agency, is very difficult because a huge number of people because the season is also very short.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in 2-3 months, we have 1 million of people.
They start coming in June until end of August, mostly the influx in those months.
We are discussing these days one way to reach Skardu, very nice, is to cross the Osai National Park. There is
from a store to
from a store to Skardu. is a very beautiful place in which the Himalayan brown bear is living there. We have a unique place for 77, I think, the last chances of Himalayan bears are there. But in the lakes and in the rivers, they find that the water is also in this place that is over 4,000 meters, 500 meters high, is completely polluted. So this huge number of tourists coming from down and go through this area and go back to Skardu, arrive there and they throw everything around, they take pictures, but they don't care about the environment, really.
Yeah.
I think, the next step is to find out a way to educate the Pakistan tourists in a proper way, in which way they have to go and enjoy the mountains without leaving everything.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this also, we also see this, as you well pointed out, the lack of education and awareness about and the personal and social responsibility to promote good tourism, right? Individuals who are visiting have less interest in the beauty of nature, the more interest to just go out and eat and come back, like going to a park with the family and coming back, So that's one aspect. Secondly, I think there are policies as well. As we see, there is a tourism plan for Gilgit-Baltistan. There is some level of compliance mechanism, but the problem is who will implement those, because this influx of tourism creates a lot of mess, and then we see that there is the response from the institution is really very slow. They don't come up to the occasion, or they come up to the standards to actually help people to facilitate tourism, but also put some restrictions so that people do responsible tourism. Everywhere it happens. Even the Europeans who come to the mountains, they also throw the garbage.
Yeah.
But when they are in Europe, they are very responsible. They do.
Yes.
So it means the system has to do something there.
Yes, but no, I work for a lot of years on, especially around K2 for the Central Karakoram National Park, and we in our organization prepare the management plan for the Central Karakoram National Park and last year for the Hussain National Park. And still, we have put a lot of efforts to find a way to reduce the pollution from these kind of tourists that are not really interested for the environment. But still, we are not able to find, because just to give you some information, in the last 15 years that we are working for waste management in the Central Karakoram National Park, we collect around, I can say, 40 tons of waste. And we are talking about a glacier, so the effort is to collect the waste and take down the waste out of the glacier, because we cannot leave the waste in the glacier. It means that 60 kilometers, the porters have to carry the waste. The waste are out for 60 kilometers, and it's very costly. So.
Absolutely.
And every year again. So every year we don't find a better situation. So every year all these things have to be carried out where we have an incinerator, a good incinerator to burn. The solution is not to leave anything. If you continue to leave waste, then every year we have to work with the support also of the management of the park. They are very active, really. They work a lot. I was happy that what we teach to the management of the park, still they are working. They are spending all the budget that they receive from the entry fees for the waste management fees. They spend, but it's not enough. And then the people arriving there complain a lot in the media. Oh my God, the glacier is dirty, and why?
Absolutely. I mean, can this happen, for example, if those touring companies, the tourism companies who are responsible to take those mountaineers to the area, so they are made responsible for the collection of the waste when their group goes. So the group will be the responsibility of tourism company. So they clean up and they leave nothing behind. So that if they do that, there is a monitoring. So the monitors will go and see if they have not done it. There will be some penalty, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Can this work?
Yeah, yeah. I suggest two things. One is to now this interview has to be probably published as much as we can to promote with a domestic tourist
Yeah.
a different way of stay and make in the mountains.
Yeah.
Because I think the media can be one way that is really very important, because probably they don't understand what the tourism is doing up there.
Yeah.
The second point, yes, is that the responsibility of the tour operators is something that has to be improved, and so it's not, it's only a matter to hike a little bit the costs for the budget that they ask for the tourists. I understand that there is a fighting between them, who is cheaper, who is not cheaper. So everyone is trying to be cheaper, but the cheapest price probably there is nothing to put in the cleaning or in these things.
Absolutely, they don't want to put cost.
But they have to. I think in your work for the policy of management and environment over there, one point is very important is the tour operators has to increase a little bit fees and the cost of the groups, including a cost for cleaning. So they cannot give all the responsibility to the national parks, to the management, because for them it's really huge and difficult to. If the tour operator take care by themselves about what happened in the field, I think the solution can be more
easier.
Close. Yeah, inshallah.
Or somehow the government can impose some taxes, environment fee on those tour operators, so that money goes into cleaning.
No, these are already working this way. So nowadays, for entering on Central Karakoram National Park for the expedition, they have to pay around $200 for each members for the waste management fee. But still, again, I know the story, but we want to increase. Every year the government propose to increase, but really is never enough. To put fees is not enough. We have to find another solution, probably especially through the tour operator, through the best information by the media, because everyone is able after to complain. No, in the media, especially if you go on YouTube, everywhere you find, oh my God, the glacier is in terrible condition. There is waste everywhere. But we have to work in advance, I think.
Absolutely. This is the proactive action has to be taken.
Yes.
I think one of the things, when we see that when these mountains are facing a lot of challenges, not only in terms of waste generation, but also the temperature increase due to the global climate change. So this is also creating threats for the local communities. So there also we need some sort of adaptation programming, as your organization is working on these lines as well, on green and alternate economy as well.
We started 2 years ago a huge, interesting activity project funded by Italian cooperation. And executed by UNDP and implemented by our organization, Everest Ketusianer. This project have three main objectives. One is to install several automatic weather stations on the glacier to have some information, more detailed information about how it's going with the temperature, how much they are increasing, if it's true. And the second objective is to create a database that give a picture of the glacier that are on the ground now. So Karakoram and the Himalayas are the third tower of water in the world, so is the main resource of the big area, I can say, not only all Pakistan, but also India, China.
True.
A lot of people depends from the glacier in Karakoram. So we make this effort to define how many glaciers are on the field and how big are these glaciers. We delineate all the border of the glacier. And the third important thing is that we organize this activity together with the local university.
Right.
GB has two universities, one in Gilgit, one in Skardu, and we involve more than 300 students of these two universities to work with the Italian researcher, to work with the Italian students, so there will be an exchange of experience between the students that is very important. Because the glaciers are so important for all the country, but there is not a specific glaciology institute department over there, so we have to push a lot because the students start thinking that they have to work on the glacier. Before, for the moment, they are still not really interested on the glacier. So this project will be really the first step, because the next step is to study how much water is coming out from the glacier for the local community in the next year. We want to study. The first result is interesting. So the surface of the glacier in this study is the same that 20 years ago.
Okay, the surface is not reduced.
Yeah, there is something special because all over the world...
people are saying that the glaciers are melting and decreasing.
The surface is the same,
really?
But we are studying also how much the mass of the glacier, and the mass, I think, is going to reduce for sure.
Right.
So the melting of the glacier is still working, but for the moment, the surface remain covered by glacier is the same. So we call this Karakoram anomaly. So it's something different from the other countries and other parts.
This is at least the good news that the surface is not
yes.
But I think the people now increasingly feel this threat of this GLOF phenomena. The glacier outburst is increasing day by day. We have seen a number of villages, they are devastated by this flood coming from the glaciers. And there seems to be no action plan, no adaptation strategy. There are those strategies, but how to make them workable, how to make them enforceable so that there is authority, power, resources, you have experience in your own country as well. There has to be a decentralized structure, right? So how does it work in Italy? So we can also emulate something, we can also follow something for that.
The GLOFs is something that is not so common in the Alps.
Yeah, it's very rare, but still, there's...
there are some cases, and I link this with the steep of the glacier, because if we have a flat glacier like Karakoram, mainly glacier are flat, the GLOFs is quite difficult to burn outside. And where, especially in the other part of where the glaciers are steeper and with the south face of the mountains, so it be like Shisper. Is something more difficult. Then one point is monitoring, for sure, and also UNDP with the government is working for put a lot of weather station to monitor the situation. The other point is to find some solution that really are very difficult to find out. How to take out the water from the glacier, very costly, or make a mechanism from alarm system so they can at least take away the people under this problem, and so save the people.
Evacuate them from the area.
But it's still a process that take time and more studies.
So some sort of early warning systems have to be there, strong one.
Yes. But still a big problem. It's not, for the moment, I don't see very easy solution for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there has to be an institutional response,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
The
sure.
collective
Yeah.
response that we are lacking right now. Because
Disaster Management Authority, GB, now
yeah,
is working on it.
yeah.
EPA again. Also, probably they have to coordinate the work between the different institutions that are involved in this environment of the
I think the EPA is doing really good work, but it has to, it has to branch out to the districts, right?
Yeah.
So it must have the branches in the districts so that the monitoring becomes easier for them, for their team to look over all
And so
this.
this something that has to be decided at political level.
Yeah,
To increment the EPA offices everywhere,
exactly.
so they need more funds.
More
They need
funds,
more,
absolutely.
yeah, because
The authority and the
yeah,
funds.
yeah, see, and also the authority, because
Yeah.
sometimes the power of decision is. No, you see, for example, just to give nowadays they are building hotels everywhere in GB without any
Yeah.
rules,
This is
without
really
any
terrible. Another
controls.
very big issue.
Karimabad now is something that is impossible to reach because they are growing hotel
The
everywhere.
hustle bustle of
Yes.
cars and going
Yeah,
down.
and there is no policy around.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this is
You want in Europe we close to the cars the more important towns. Venice is completely
Exactly.
closed. Rome in the downtown is closed. Florence. So I think we have to introduce some rules also in GB to protect the main focal point for the tourists. If someone wants to see Karimabad, has to stop down in a big park and take, or they go by feet to up to the.
absolutely.
Yeah.
This is what is happening. In European villages. Whenever I went there, I was completely amazed by the fact that people walk.
Yeah.
They don't need to drive through
True.
those streets.
Because
They're-
this is something that I've seen Pakistani style. I say Pakistani style.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to drive inside the Karimabad and take picture inside from inside the car. Neither to go the
Exactly.
picture from inside the car
Yeah,
are
yeah.
terrible with your
So
smartphone.
they even don't want to, get off the car.
No.
They just from inside.
Yes. This is.
This is.
No.
I mean, this is hilarious. I mean,
Yeah.
how come this small town is getting jammed with different cars coming from both sides? Last year I went to Karimabad. I couldn't pass through that narrow strip.
Yeah.
And I was stuck for 3 hours and I returned back somehow. I managed to go back rather than going up into the market. So this is again, I mean, why should I go to Karimabad? I will be better off in Rawalpindi,
Yes.
having
Yes.
same traffic, the hustle bustle.
Nowadays, the traffic of Rawalpindi is compared to Karimabad. No, but the other point is the small roads of Karimabad. Talking about Karimabad, but the other villages are the same.
Yeah.
Now the new cars are so big that they cannot go through
Pass
this.
through.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is unfortunate,
No, they have to close, absolutely.
Yeah.
They have to close the main focal point for the tourists. And so the tourists also, they have to understand in which way they can approach this part of the world. And so
That's
if the rule is to stop the car and walk a little bit and take time, and not you have to spend more time, but it's also very nice to spend more time and enjoy the mountains.
Absolutely.
Breathe the air of the mountain.
And see, the beauty, the actual
But not by car. Sorry, but the car.
That's a problem. That's a problem. We are too much car oriented. The world is going away from cars, and we are more into the cars, which is again. Thank you, Mr. Gallo, for being here today. It was a wonderful session with you. I think this is International Mountains Day, and we hope that the policymakers, the people, the tourists who are visiting Gilgit-Baltistan can take some care of that particular environment which is now getting degraded.
Just to tell you the last words, when we climb the mountains, we say that you have to go step by step, very slowly.
Yeah.
If you run, you risk your life because your body is not. So the same policy to go step by step when the tourists visit GB is very important. So leave the car outside and walk slowly to see the beauty of. And I can say today, International Mountain Day, I can say that the mountains of GB of Pakistan, for my experience, are the more beautiful mountains in the world, really.
Yeah.
I've been in America, Alaska, in Himalayas, but when I arrive here, I can say they are the best mountains in the world, the most important glacier in the world. Today, you have to do policy to protect them and to give to the people living there the possibility to continue their life in the mountains. Otherwise, the mountains without people are really very sad, very terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. So with this message, and the mountains are beautiful, and as Gallo said, it's the most beautiful mountain area in the world. So let us, guys, protect it. Let us make sense that, let sense to prevail. So our mountains are, if safe, our ecosystem is preserved, so we are going to live a better life. Otherwise, we are going to be facing a lot of disaster. Thank you very much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you.
And we hope to have another session with you soon.
Sure.
Thank you very much.